So let's talk about a niche. Okay, so there's two kinds that are pretty cool. So the fundamental and realized. So the fundamental is basically that area which it's a possibility. Like, you know, we could survive in the Arctic. We need a lot warmer clothes, but it's a possibility. Okay, but we, you know, our bodies kind of like temperatures that are like what we've got right here. Okay, or if you're older, maybe a little bit older. But the realize is those conditions where we actually live. Okay, so yeah, we could live in the Arctic, but right now we're here in Indiana. Okay, so I showed you this before, this nice little bell curve. Okay, and I think this was in maybe a film we watched too. But most things live, grow right here in the middle. Okay, but things can get hotter, things can get colder. I think we looked at the highest temperatures, right? It was like 115, right? Was the record. I think 87 was the low. Okay, but you're gonna mostly die if you're gonna be above, you know, 110 or below 90. What was it? Was it 56? Yeah. Internal temperatures 56. Yeah, it's that guy that was in ice, right? Isn't that what we? Yeah. Okay, but really, man, if you're in the 80s, it's no good, right? We want to be this happy medium, whether it's 98.6 or 99.1 or 97.8. There you go. All right. So you know that there are people that are or animals that are generalists or specialists. Okay, and I like to think of this creature as being. You see this? This was a meme from last year. I liked it. Have you ever seen a wet koala? It's the scariest thing like ever.
Oh
they are incredibly. Yeah, that one's pissed too. Okay, why are koala? Why do I put this picture up? Yeah, it has something to do with this, huh? What do koalas eat? Anybody know? Eucalyptus, right? What else do they eat? This one does. That one does, right? No, they just eat eucalyptus, right? Okay, they're specialists, right? That's their and we've got eucalyptus growing in Australia, and that's where we find those. It's a type of plant. Okay, but recently on my trip to California, I found out there's some eucalyptus growing in California, but again, they don't have the exact right climate for those koalas to live. Okay, that's a niche specialist. A generalist can be a wide variety of things. We're, you know, for the most part, we're generalists, right? Okay, we can eat plants. We can also eat animals. Okay, now I know that some of us in here might be specialists. Maybe you're a vegetarian. Any vegans? Do we have any vegans in here? Vegans? No vegans? I think that'd be incredible. Was she? Yeah.
Anna's still pescatarian.
Is she?
Has been since your class.
No kidding.
What's that mean? She don't make meat. She doesn't eat meat. She eats fish.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I did not know about my steak or my hamburger or my chicken wings.
We'll talk about all that stuff later. Did she ever tell you about the awkward time where it was her and Hannah and Hannah's parents? It was supposed to be this big class thing. And it was like, we went to see this lady named Vandana Shiva talk about India and the environment. And all these people were like, yeah, we're going to go. Well, only Jama showed up. And so we met Hannah's parents there. We all went out to this nice Indian restaurant. I always felt like it might be too awkward for her, but we had a good time. You have to ask her about it sometime. All right. So there's that wet koala. I want to end today with just a couple things here that things can change the distributions of species. We know that the ice sheet for us, the Wisconsin Glacier, came down, they left Hill. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. Well, it's chapter 8. It's really cool to look at how our environment has changed and some differences. I got to be a part of a really, really cool research process that looked at change over time at the Indiana Dunes National Park in these little areas called interdunal ponds. Okay, so let me tell you this, if you ever do research, okay, there's certain things that you just have to let go. One of those is mosquitoes, and another is poison ivy. So I met with some researchers, these are a couple of them, and they said, all right, Javen, you're gonna have to meet us at this location. Please wear shoes that have, that you can tie up. And if you notice, so here's like the tie-up shoes, and notice that there's duct tape around that. Because literally we walked through poison ivy. I've never seen poison ivy this big. It was like at our waists. Okay, we walked through this poison ivy to these ponds, and then we walked into the ponds, and you couldn't wear boots because the boots would get stuck in the muck, right? And then you lose your boot. So the tie-up shoes with duct tape around them is how we kind of kept everything together. Now, the main reason, though, we kept the duct tape around there was the leeches in these interdunal ponds were unbelievable. I have never seen a leech swimming before, but I'm kidding you. They were like this, and they would be swimming in the water like this. Two people that I was with for one day, in one day, two different people got a leech attached to them, and they were bleeding like crazy. Here's a side story. This is a true story too. I don't know all the details. I wanted to ask this girl, but it was awkward. So we had to take these PVC pipes basically are holding a pond core sample that's 1 meter long. We would take this big metal thing that we would drill into the ground with our hands, and then we'd pull it up and we'd bring the pond core sample out. We would wrap it in saran wrap, and then we would put it in these PVC pipes. I'll tell you why we did that in a minute. Okay, but one time it got stuck. This girl had to dive down into the water. She came up and she's like, I feel something. A leech went down her shirt, okay, into her pants, and literally, this is her words, not mine, attached to her vagina. Now, when she said that, I wanted to ask questions because that's kind of vague, like, did it go, I don't know, okay? But she was done for the day. It was bleeding like crazy. I didn't get to see it, okay? But there you go, okay? So there we are wrapping that up. So basically what we would do is we these pond core samples contained seeds. So we would look at the plants that were on top, and then there is a historical seed bank. So the pond every year grows in layers, right? So as we get closer to the top of the pond, okay, what we're stepping on, okay, those were seeds that were deposited or fell down, okay, more recently. As you drill down, just like a fossil record, there are seeds from thousands of years ago. Okay, so get this. This is insane. They took this back to the University of Wyoming. They dried this out, and then they shaved it into little cookies. Okay. And then they made undergrad students pick apart all of the dirt and find the seeds, okay? And then identify the seeds and determine, okay, what kind of plants were growing there, okay? And they compared that with climate studies, okay? So how are the plants changing over time in the interdunal pond? So it was a collaborative study between the University of Wyoming and Brown University in New York. Really cool dudes. This guy Dove Sachs, man, it was cool to hang out with that guy. So again, that goes with this kind of changes over time. Okay, looking at pine, maybe at one time spruce, birch, but here looking at all the different stuff that could be from the outside or just actually on the pond itself. Okay. Here's from last year. I hung out with you guys. Remember this? Where am I? Yeah, Chicago Field Museum. Remember this? Okay. Why talk about this? This guy's gone, passenger pigeon. This was the number of species that have gone extinct since 8 o'clock this morning, right? 15. Okay. Normal rate of extinction is 1 species every 4 years. Okay. Much quicker now. That was from this morning. Okay. Why talk about extinction? This is all about evolution. Remember that 99% of the species that have ever lived have gone. And we've had 5 global mass extinctions. Okay, maybe we're on our approach for 6. Remember the guy that was like, if we have the thermohaline circulation and that stops, it starts the mechanism for mass extinction, right? And he's all happy about it. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Thanks for listening to my TED Talk today, guys. I appreciate that.
You're such a funny guy.
Oh.